However, tonight we're not going to talk about wrestling. We're going to talk about the XFL. I planned on being on my own channel, the sports story. However, it didn't work out. Hopefully, it'll be up and running tomorrow. We'll see. Hello, Mrs. Gleen. Hello, Scott, if you're still around. So today, talking about the XFL opening day. Awesome. Double audio. Great. 1 second. Let me fix it. Maybe. Oh, I need double audio here. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Is that better? Does that sound better? Do I still have double audio? Hope not. That's double audio. If I still have double audio, just let me know. Better. Awesome. Cool. Sweet. All right. So as I was saying, going to talk about the XFL debuting today. A lot of people were kind of criticizing it, like questioning why the XFL would start back up. I actually think that it's probably a good idea, and I think it's probably a good idea to start right after the NFL ends because people still want football. Um, it's still cold outside in a lot of parts of the country. People want to stay home and watch TV. So I think that this is working out well for them rather than waiting till like spring or um, summer. Overall, I think that the product they put on the field after watching today, I think is pretty solid. I definitely like some of the rules that they have, which I'll cover here as we go through this. And for those of you in chat, if you have questions, you want to talk about something, let me know, and we'll talk about it. So with that, today we had the Seattle Dragons versus the DC Defenders. How you doing, Jono? Did you watch the games today? Kind of doing an unusual stream here on this channel. My other channel, my sports channel, YouTube didn't have me as set up yet, so I had to verify something so I could go live. I actually had the channel set up for a while. Just it wouldn't let me go live, so I had to verify it, and I have to wait like 25 years or just 24 hours. But so tomorrow afternoon, hopefully, I'll be streaming the games for tomorrow. I'll be talking about them tomorrow on my other channel. I like that everybody is mic'd. Definitely, I think it's cool that the coaches are mic'd, the players are mic'd. There was an F-bomb drop that the censors didn't catch, which I thought was pretty funny. So yeah, I thought it was overall. I think it's a good product. I think what they're doing is really good. I think it's going to hopefully people stick with it. 24 hours you'll be able to live stream over there. Be sure to share the link, Mr. G. I will do that if I can figure out how to get to it. Because I just click on the thing on my. I'll do that here in a little bit. So anyway, so we're going to talk about the Seattle Dragons and the DC Defenders. I thought it was a solid game. Definitely, it was very entertaining. It was. It was again good right until late in the game. I thought. I love the point scoring. I don't think there's going to be many 1 point. 1 point extra points made just because you're going from 2 yards out. Yes, the logo is pretty awesome. I like the little logos. All four. I like all the logos. They're pretty cool looking. So the scoring with the extra points. Both games, teams struggled to get the 1 point conversion. And it seemed like the best option would be go for two. And the second game, I think they did go for two a couple times. And were successful. So I think your best option is probably go for 2 rather than going for the 1 point. But you have an option of 1 point, 2 point, or 3 points. The 1 point you go from the 2, the 2 point you go from the 5, and the 3 point you go from the 10. It's pretty cool. And then if the defense is able to cause a turnover, they can return it, and they can earn however many points you're going for. So if you're going for 3, the defense can earn 3. If you're going for 2, the defense earns 2. If you're going for 1, the defense earns 1 point, which I think is really interesting. I would love to see the NFL adopt something like this, or do something similar to it, because I think it makes it way more interesting, rather than just kicking the ball, because they're almost automatic in kicking. They also have the punt. Punting is a little bit different. You have the defenders cannot leave until after the ball is kicked, which is pretty cool. There's going to be a learning curve for me with this new rules. LOL. Yeah, me too. So they can't release till the ball is till the ball is past the line of scrimmage. They have to wait. Gunners must line up at the line of scrimmage and are permitted to move laterally once the ball is snapped until it is kicked. So they can move laterally back and forth until the ball is kicked. If the ball goes out of bounds inside the 35-yard line, it is a major touchback, and the ball goes back to the 35-yard line, which I think is pretty cool, because it's not good. You can't just punt the ball and try and nail it down at the 1 by kicking it out of bounds. You have to actually keep it in play, or the other team gets the ball at the 35. If the punted ball lands in the opponent's end zone or goes out of the end zone, the result is a major touchback, and the ball goes out to the 35-yard line, which, again, I think it's pretty cool, just because there's it allows it forces coaches to really think. The second game tonight, or this afternoon, the LA Wildcats and the Houston Roughnecks, there was a play where they had it 4th and 1 at the 36, or 4th and 8 at the 36, or something like that. And rather than punting, because they knew that there was a good chance that it was going to go out of bounds, or that it was going to go out of the end zone, so they decided to go for it, and of course they didn't make it, but it makes the coaches think about what they're doing. So that's pretty cool. Double forward pass. You can actually have a double forward pass where, as long as it's behind the line of scrimmage, the first pass is behind the line of scrimmage, you can throw a pass forward, and then the person that receives it could then go ahead and throw a pass downfield, which makes it a little tougher to defend, and it makes it interesting to see how things are handled there. And the kickoff, which I think is pretty cool. The opposing team, the kicker lines up at the 30-yard line, his own 30-yard line, and he must put the ball in play between the opponent's 20-yard line and the end zone. If he doesn't, then there is a penalty. The coverage team lines up at the 35-yard line, and the receiving team lines up at the 30-yard line. And it's so the penalty ends up being, if he doesn't kick it between the 20 and the goal line, where he kicks it out of bounds, the other team gets the ball on the kicking team's 45-yard line, which happened once or twice today in games, which is really interesting, because again, there's a lot of thinking involved in this, and you have to really kickers have to make sure that they're putting the ball in play and not letting the ball kick it out of bounds by mistake, or and so it's pretty cool how they're doing this. Once the ball is received by the receiver, then players can start moving, or 3 seconds after the ball touches the ground when the official waves his hand down. So it's like the official's starting them, and they can take off after the official puts his hand down. If the ball bounces in bounds and then out of the end zone is down to the end zone, the ball is placed at the return side's 15-yard line. If a player on the return team touches the ball and it goes out of bounds, the ball is spotted where it went out of bounds. If the ball is kicked into the end zone, is downed, is a major touchback, and the ball is placed at the 35-yard line. So basically, the rules are set up to make things more interesting, make things go a little bit faster. Let's see. Is there anything major? Oh, the play clock. There's 25-second play clock, which is different from the NFL. Once the ball is set, there's an official that is specifically designed for the play clock, or for setting the ball for the play clock. He comes running out on the field, and they give the ball to him. He's like wearing a red hat, and he sets the ball. That's his only job. I'd love his job. Be pretty tough to set the ball in play. So he sets the ball in play, and then you have a 25-second play clock that begins right after it's spotted. And they say it takes an average of 7 seconds to spot the ball. So it's about 32 seconds between plays. There's no overtimes today. However, overtimes are done similar to hockey or soccer, where they have a shootout. You get 5 chances to score, and with 5 chances to score, everybody gets 5 chances, 5 opportunities. If it's still tied after that, then in overtime there is a coin flip. So it's kind of one of those things that sucks if you score 5 and have to go to that. I love the NHL shootout thing, so it'll be cool. Yeah, I'm curious to see an overtime. I'm kind of reading these, so I'm not looking at the video, the camera, because I'm still learning these rules because they're cool, but not easy to remember. They have a 10-minute. There is a 10-minute halftime, which is cut down from what the NFL does. Normally, NFL has a 15-minute overtime, so it's a lot shorter. And then they come right back out and they're on the field and they're going. So games go faster. I thought the games today went pretty quick. And like I said, I didn't think the gameplay was bad. I thought it was pretty good. It was entertaining. The first game we had the Seattle Dragons versus the DC Defenders. First points, they talked about scoring and all this stuff and scoring touchdowns and stuff. And when the first points of the XFL season was in the new XFL was a field goal. DC Defenders kicked a field goal. There was, again, a lot of back and forth between the teams. We had a blocked punt for a touchdown in the game. We had a 54-yard field goal, which is a record for XFL, obviously. We had several one-point attempts that were not successful. 1-point attempts after touchdowns that were not successful. We had an interception return for a touchdown. So there's a lot going on in this game. The DC Defenders ended up winning. I think they announced that there was a crowd of 17,000 at this game, which is pretty good and they sounded, like they were into the game. hopefully, you know, they continue to uh, draw crowds like this. As I think this is a league that could stay, and people that sit here and go, well, it'll be like the American Football League or whatever the league was here just this past year. The difference is Vince went out and he got actual TV contracts with ESPN and Fox, and so everything's going to be on ESPN, ABC, Fox, FS1. Everything is done. It's set up for the next 3 years. So there's he's got everything done and set up. I don't think there's going to be any issues with the money thing. I think he's all set up for at least the next 3 years. So this league isn't going anywhere for at least 3 years. And like I said, it may catch on. I think that it has a shot at catching on. I didn't see any difference between this and watching a college or an NFL game. And if you're a football fan, there's nothing wrong with having more football. Again, this first game was pretty good and entertaining. The second game this evening or this afternoon, we had the LA Wildcats against the Houston Roughnecks. I believe, I'm not sure, but I think that they have the Houston Roughnecks are the team that everybody thinks is going to win the league. And based on what they did tonight, looks like they may end up being the team that ends up winning the league. Houston ended up winning 37-17. Their defense looked good. Their offense looked impressive. They pretty much did anything they wanted to. Again, early in the game, there was a lot of back and forth, and then Houston kind of took over late in the second quarter, and then was in charge almost the whole second half. It was never in doubt. At halftime, it was Houston was up 18-17, and ended up pulling away and winning 37-17. They had three two-point attempts in this game that were successful, and so I think that's probably going to be the way that teams are going to have to go, because it seems like that if you get 33% of those, then you're doing good. Because right now it looks like the 1 points, just looking at all the 1 point attempts that didn't make it, you're better off getting 2 points 33% of the time than 1 point maybe 50% of the time, so or less. Because I think that the 1 point attempts were way lower than that. We'll have to see what tomorrow brings, as there are 2 more games scheduled for tomorrow. 1 o'clock, we have, or 2 o'clock Eastern, we have the Tampa Bay Vipers versus the New York Guardians, and then we have at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock Eastern, St. Louis Battlehawks versus the Dallas Renegades. Again, I think that if you didn't watch the games today, I think that you should definitely check out the XFL. I like what they're doing with it. They seem to be more serious this time than they were last time with the league. Last time they did the XFL, I didn't feel that they were as serious about it. Like I said, the one thing Vince did this time they didn't last time was went out. He got his TV deals with major networks. They are taking everything serious. It seems like the rule changes seem to be pretty interesting, and it's kind of a neat change with everything. So I think that pretty much covered everything for today. Again, the DC Defenders are 1-0 as they beat the Seattle Dragons 31-19. The Houston Roughnecks are 1-0 as they beat the LA Wildcats 37-17. So, anybody have any comments, anything they want to talk about? Let me know. Or if you have questions or comments, you can leave it in the comment section. Again, tomorrow I'm hoping to have my other channel set up, so then we're just going to have go into the sports story. Let me pull this up. I'll post a copy of my link in the description. Maybe. I'll put a copy of the link in the description. So anybody that wants to check it out tomorrow or anytime beyond that, then you can. Outside of that, I think that pretty much does it for our first show on the XFL. Any questions or anything? Anybody want to talk about anything? I still don't have a favorite team. I don't know who I'm going to pick as my team. Quote, my team. Gonna watch the games tomorrow and decide. And no, I'm not gonna pick just the best team or who I think the best team is. All right. I think that we will wrap this up. Short, sweet, to the point. 23 minutes. After this week, I'll start talking about some of the players because I'll know more about them. I do know I was impressed with, even though Seattle lost, I was impressed with their running game, what they did at running the ball. DC defenders, I was pretty impressed with their defense the second half. Houston, I was pretty impressed with them all around. You'll find a favorite in time. Yes, definitely. It's tough when there's not a lot of history. No, because there's not, and there's a lot of players on here that you don't know a lot about. Some of them I've heard of, like Houston has Cardell Jones, played for Ohio State. There's just a lot of players that are not household names yet, but I think that if the XFL kicks off and or stays, with what they did today, I think they have a shot at being successful. I hope people stick with it if they like football, which I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. But today I thought that the overall the whole thing was pretty interesting, and like I said, I like some of the new rule changes that they're using. All right, I think that I am going to take off, and I will be back tomorrow, hopefully on my other channel, not here on the Wrestle Story, since we're not talking about wrestling. And I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the games between the Tampa Bay Vipers, the New York Guardians, and the St. Louis Battlehawks and the Dallas Renegades. With that, I'm out of here. Peace out. See you on the other channel. Definitely. I'm out.